All right, let's copy these notes. So, back-to-back stem and leaf plots. What do you need to know for both 11 and 12s? This is one of the key things to note. Back-to-back in stem and leaf plots, the only time you can use this is when you have what they call bivariate data. And I know that sounds confusing. All it means is you have to have one numerical variable. That usually is the thing that you're measuring. So like test percentage or temperature or weight. There has to be a number scale, right? And then a two categorical variable. So what are you comparing between? So if you're measuring between, say, this class and the other class, then this would be foundation class A and the other one's foundation class B. That's the two categoricals. But how do I measure you guys? How do I know the difference between you two? Could be a SAC score. So that's measurable. So that's numerical. So there has to be something that's measurable. And then which two things am I comparing between? Without that, you can't do a stem and leaf back to back. Yeah? So here's an example. Comparing marks out of 100 for a test in class A versus class B. What is the numerical variable? What's the numerical variable? So in this example here, remember you have to have one numerical, one measure, and then two things you're comparing with. What am I measuring? How am I measuring? Let's go with the year 11s. That's to the thing. Let's go with Jack. What do you think? So I need one numerical, something that I'm measuring. And then I need two things that I'm comparing between. So in this scenario, what would I be measuring? The marks. So it's out of 100. So this you would say marks or test scores, marks out of 100. Okay, so you know that on the one scale, it must go between 0 to 100. Then what are the two categorical variables am I comparing in this case, Pav? Good. Class A versus Class B. See, Class A and Class B is not numerical. That is a categorical data, technically nominal. Okay, so you need to have two categorical versus each other and then a measuring. The measuring usually is numerical continuous. Okay? All right, now that you got that, if you think about a stem and leaf plot, usually if you tilt your head, one side actually looks like a histogram just done on the side. That's a typical way for you to interpret the data. So fill it in, just write histogram so you remember. You can tilt your head and read it from the side. Let's do an example so that you get a vibe of how to start, boys. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Let's do an example so you get a sense of what back-to-back stem and leaf plot looks like. Here we go. I took the example from the year 7.4 question 1, but I wrote my own questions here. Okay, so the answers will be different to what you see in the back of the book. Here we go. We've got test marks out of 50. So marks out of 50 obtained by the end of term for an end of term test. Students in German and French class. So what are my two categorical data? It is German versus French, right? What is my measure? My numerical data is out of 50. So it's the marks out of 50. So here we go. German versus French. This is the data. So this is the scores out of 50 for German class, all the students that we have. These are the scores for the French students. Boys, thank you. Let's count how many students we have. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So we know there are 20 students in both classes, both German and French. We have 20 students. There's already a legend to put here for you. 2 with a line in the center and then 3. So one's a stem, one's a leaf. 2, 3 means 23. Now, why did I put a legend that said 2 with a star on it and then a 5? Is because question A says display the data in a back-to-back stem and leaf plot, but intervals of 5. So what does that mean? Instead of going from 2 to 30 or 20 to 30, it is now 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 35 to 35, and 35 to 40. The thing that students tend to confuse between when I write 2 and then 2 star there, this means numbers from 20 to 24 goes in these sites. Then the next one must be then 25 to 29 because the next one starts with a 3, so it has to be 30 to 34. So all the numbers from 30 to 34 will belong in this row. And the next one with the 3 star must be then 35 to 39 because I want intervals of 5. This is how you do intervals. If you weren't sure on how to do it, copy that down so you know the meaning behind it. So let's count. Let's see if you can do a bit of counting here. So let's go with the German team. Here's the German data. We're now going to look at starting from the 20 to 24s. I can see that I've got a 20 up here. So I'm going to write 2, 0. So 2, 0. Closest to the 2 is the smallest number that you have there. Yeah, so 20. Then we go to the next one. What's the next smallest number that you can see? So I'll cross it off. 20's gone. We got 21. Good. So I got 21. Do I have any more 21s? Yes, I do. Another 21. Any more 21s? No. So 2 1s. Then I look at the next number. There is a 22. So we go, we do 22. So cross off the 22 there. I've got 2. Do I have a 23 or another 22? No. Is there 24? No. By the time you get to 25, now remember, you don't write it over here. It's the next interval. So 25 is the next interval. And I can already see there are 2. Is there 2? Yeah, there's 2. 25. So here we go. 25 over here and a 25 over here. So then we put 5, 5. That means you got 2 25s there in the German group. And then 126. 126 and 127. So 1 6, 1 7. I don't think I see a 28. No 29s. And okay, we're on to 30s now. Next one. 30s. I see a 30 over here. I see another 30 over here. That's it. So we'll put 2 zeros. 0, 0. Go 0, 0. Let's go 31 now. So we've got 31 over here. Any other 31s? No. So we'll put a 1 down. 31. Another 32. Any other 32s? No. And then 33. So 2, 3. Any more 33s? Nope. No more 34s. No more. Okay, now 35. I don't see another 35. 36. No. I see 37. So 37, 37. So another 2 7s. Copy this down if you're not following. At least you've got the data so that you can do it. So I'm doing the hard work for you here. I'm just going through the data with you. 37, 2 37s. 138. 139. So 8 and 9 comes in. 8, 9. And I don't think there's any more after that. Cool. And then now we're on to the 40s. So let's go to the 40s. Any 40s? No, I don't see a 40, but I do see a 41. And then I see a 42. So therefore, 41, 42. And then 45 is in the next one. So, and then we finish. I haven't missed any numbers, have I? So I should have 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Beautiful. Okay. All right. I want you to fill in the next one. Do the same thing. Now try to fill out the French column. See if you get it right. I'm going to fill in the answers and then you can check as well. But I want you to practice. Do you know how to fill out a back-to-back? So a back-to-back means instead of just having stem and leaf on one side, you have leaf on both sides. And that's why you got to compare between 2 categorical. I'm going to pause the video. If you didn't have a look... Thanks, team. Thanks. All right, if you didn't have a look at the data and you didn't put into the stem and leaf plot, please copy this down so that at least you can refer back to it and you know what to do. Copy down the German data and copy down the French. I just did it for you. Let's go. Yes.
I do it anyway.
I assume you guys know you just can't be bothered, but you have to copy this down so that you can analyze it.
So is that a saying thanks because you did it? Is that a true Josh is being smarter?
No, so
Yeah, so this would be 20, and 21, 21, 22. Yeah. So you always put the smallest numbers closer to the stem. The further you're out, the larger the number is.
That's what you know.
Copy down the data if you guys didn't do it. If you didn't check out for the French and you didn't do it for the German, please copy it down because the next bit you have to do your 5-number summary. So without the data, you can't do the 5-number summary. Because it needs to be ordered. And the nice thing about stem and leaf is it's ordered for you. Smallest to largest. Copy down the numbers. Let's go. And for those who did do it, check if you got the right answers. Make sure to copy the numbers down. It's only one problem to do today, so if you don't copy the numbers down when I ask you a question, you won't be able to solve it. You guys got a lot more interpreting. These guys just need to calculate. So what I'm doing right now is the calculation component, but then the next bit for the interpretation, they don't need to. You guys need to know this. And then same thing, this one, if they were listening, they should be able to do these 2 questions. But you guys must be able to do these 2 questions as an example. So that's the difference between 12s and 11s. Theirs just calculation. Yours is interpretation. That's what separates the 12 and 11s. All right, team. So assuming you are copying the data down, I've already filled in some of the data for you. Here we go. In order to calculate Q1, Q3, you need to know your middle, and I already gave the middle. 30.5. 30.5 must mean it's between these 2 numbers here. So I'm going to highlight it so you can see. 30.5 must be between these 2 numbers. That's the median for the German. So that means it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it must be between the 10th number and the 11th number is where the middle is. Which makes sense. Why? Because you have 20 students. If you have 20 students, you should have 10 on the left, 10 students on the right. So obviously the middle has to be between the 10th and 11th position. And it turns out that the 10th number and the 11th number is 30 and 31. So the middle of 30 and 31 is 30.5. That's how they got the median for German. So you just count. There's 20 students in total. If I asked you to find the middle, you'd say it's between 10 and 11. We'll count the data, whereas between 10 and 11th position. And we now know it is 30.5. So that's how I got 30.5. But then, if that is the middle, then what is the middle of the lower half? So the first 10 digits. So if we count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to color it so that you know which one's the bottom half. Here we go for German. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So those are your 10 numbers on the bottom half, right? The middle is where I drew the green line. So out of those 10 numbers, what's the middle of 10? So you've got 10. What's the middle of 10? 5 and 6. So because it's nice and even between the 5th and the 6th. So where's the 5th and 6th? Let's count. Smallest number is starting from the closest to the stem. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's my 5 and here's my 6. So between 5 and 6 is 5. Very good. So the answer for this one must be then 25. Very good. So 25 is Q1. And you do the same for Q3. Q3 is the next 10. So let's count the next 10. Here we go. Middle was between that. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, you count between the 5th and the 6th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my 5th position. That's my 6th. So it's between 38 and 39. Q3 must be here. That's 38.5, which is between 38 and 39. Now that skill that I just did, I'm not 100% confident everyone knows how to do that. So I'm confident that if I gave you a list, you guys can do. But from a stem and leaf plot, from what I saw in the quiz, I would say that's something you want to practice. Okay, so for year 11s and year 12s, when you're doing the exercise, try to work with the stem and leaf plot. So I know you know how to find Q1, but when I put in a stem and leaf plot, for some reason, you kind of get that wrong. You're reading it wrong. Okay, so make sure to practice reading and how to count from here. Worst case scenario, if you really want, you can actually list them all out. You can write out 20, 21, 21, 22, 25, 25, 26. You still get the right answer, it just takes a bit longer. I personally would prefer that you can read it from a stem and leaf plot. It just makes your life a bit quicker. Okay, but if it's a bit too confusing for you, list it out. Yeah? All right. Here we go. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to give you a bit of time to try the French now. So same thing. Find how I did it for the median. Okay, I've done Q1 and Q3 for you. IQR should be easy. Your job is just to find the median. So through the French, there's 20 numbers. Find the middle of 20 numbers for the French team. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to give you maybe 2 minutes to have a think per question. So 4 minutes in total. This is for 11s as well. You should be able to answer these 2 questions. See if you understand it. Let's go. 4 minutes. Which one is the correct answer for 8? Which one's the correct answer for 9? So based on the theory I've taught you so far, you should be able to figure out 8 and 9, both 11 and 12, you should be able to figure out which one is the correct answer. Let's go.
Well, they're leading by 4. So
There's only one correct answer, so it's multiple choice. A, B, C, D, or E for question 8. So the pair of variables that could be displayed on a back-to-back stem plot are, so which one out of A, B, C, D, or E can be used for a stem and leaf plot back-to-back? There's only one. There's a reasoning to it. So if you copied my notes at the very start, you should be able to answer that question. Same thing with 9. A back-to-back stem and leaf plot is a useful way of displaying the relationship between, now which one of those would be the appropriate one? Write your answers in. Turn it on, please. Not appropriate for class, you do it at home. 8 and 9. You guys done? Shut up and fucking reasoning goes back to my very first thing I used. It used to be 1 and you go into 2. So why is B correct?
Watch this, ready? Watch this. I'll bounce it in the bin.
That's the 2.
Mine?
That would be the key. Make it for 12.
Round 2.
No. Strictly through like a logic sense. Like the others don't make sense. Boys, can we not throw in my class thank you?
Talking.
Regardless, just don't go on. For those who weren't sure, here's the answer for 8.